Hey everybody, it's your girl Nail and welcome to Simply Nail's Tiny Studio. Today is a What's on Nail's bookshelf kind of day. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Please also consider becoming a sustainable member of Simply Nail's Tiny Studio channel. You can do so at the link provided in the description box. So today we're going to talk about one of the many crochet books that I have on my bookshelf currently. I purchased this book last year. It would be almost a year since I ordered it. It's a book by one of my favorite crochet artists, fiber artists, and designers, Jane Crowfoot. The name of the book is called The Perfect Crochet Finish: Tips and Techniques from Reading a Pattern to Weaving in Ends and Everything in Between. And when she says everything in between, this is a really great book for a beginner, an intermediate crocheter, and an advanced crocheter. So each of those groups can find something that they will absolutely enjoy and put into their crochet toolbox for future use. I have really enjoyed this book. I marked some really great highlights that I would like to share with you. And let's get started with the book review. As always with Janie Crowfoot, she is always, the pictures in her books are just so exciting, so colorful, very inspirational. There is, here's a picture of Janie and a message from her in the introduction section. This is some of Janie's work. If you're not familiar with Janie's work, oh my God, she is such a profound crochet artist, crochet designer, and her patterns are so intricate. I am very much intimidated. However, I plan to buy or purchase my first Janie Crowfoot pattern kit, and so we'll see how it goes. But I just love her work. I have another book by Janie Crowfoot called what is it called? The Ultimate Crochet Bible. I think I reviewed this, the Ultimate Crochet Bible on this channel, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. But this is, I really love her work. And anytime I find someone's work that I admire, who's just prolific at what they do, I want to know what they know. So I invest in myself by investing in the tools of the trade so that I can become educated and I can, really take my work to the next level. So you have the introduction, and then I don't think I already said this, but what she does is, if you are a beginner and you purchase this book, you're going to get a really good education on crocheting. So she goes into the hooks, how to choose a hook, the anatomy of a hook, hook sizes and gauges, and then she gives you an overview of the different types of yarn if you are not already aware, but she gives you a breakdown on the different types of yarn. So you have 5 different types of yarn. So you have animal, plant, you have synthetic, you have texture, you have semi-synthetic. You have those are your 5 groups. Animal, plant, synthetic, and then you have semi-synthetic. And so she gives you a breakdown of those groups. If you get into the book, The Ultimate Crochet Bible by Janie, then she also breaks down a lot about the different types of yarn that you will find at your local yarn store. And here we are, we're in the dye lots, thread counts, just really, really great. What happens if you are crocheting and there's a knot? Janie lets you know what to do if there is a knot in the yarn. She shows you or explains to you what should be in your crochet kit. I think I talked about that in the Learn to Crochet with Nail classes, then what you're going to need is a really good crochet hook. You're going to need stitch markers. Of course, you're going to need yarn. You're going to need snippers or scissors. You're going to need a darning needle or a knitting needle. You're going to need a sewing needle, I should say. Straight pins, a hook gauge, row counters. And a row counter is really not necessary, but that's something you might want to add to your crochet kit. Beads, bobbins, things of that, a hook gauge. Those are certain things that you might need, a ruler that you will need in your crochet kit. But it's not necessary that you start off with that. Having a good crochet hook, some scissors, maybe something to weave your ends in with, and some stitch markers are probably all that you need. Those are the basics. And what she does is she really, if you are a beginner and you pick up this book, even though it is about having the perfect crochet finish, which of course we know to be making edging and borders for your finished crochet projects. But as I said, as a beginner, there are certain things you may want to know if you decide to pick up this book. So how to hold a crochet hook. Should you hold your crochet hook as if you would be cutting a steak, which is called a knife hold? Or do you hold your crochet hook in the pencil hold? It really depends on you. It depends on if you're right-handed or if you're left-handed. It really all depends on what's comfortable and what fits you best. There is no right or wrong way to hold a hook. So Janie gets into that. And then she teaches you about gauging, those great things. Now, what I picked out to talk to you about today in this introduction of essential techniques is something that I found very, very interesting. And as you see, it has chocolate right there. And that is pattern reading. Now, if you follow me on this channel, you'll know that I have had situations where I am not really cool with reading a pattern. And the reason is because I need to still learn how to read a pattern. And one of the things that I have learned about patterns is that, there are many different types of patterns. So this crochet stitch deck that I purchased from Bella Coco, I really like this crochet deck. And the reason why I liked it so much is because I could read the pattern. And the pattern looks like this. Put it up a little closer. I can read this. I understood exactly what was going on. What does it say? It says row 1 is single crochet and second chain from hook, and then single crochet and each chain across, turn. It was very, very simple to me. You just have to know the abbreviations. However, when I purchased my Granny Square deck of cards, I was lost. Where's that deck at? Let's see. Hold on a second. Okay. When I purchased the Granny Square card deck, I was immediately lost. Why? Because, let's see. Obviously, I like this one. Because it had this pattern diagram, and there are no, it doesn't, the pattern instructions doesn't look like the Bella Coco. It doesn't look like this. Hold on. Okay. So the pattern instructions are not like this, where you can just go ahead and just read it out if you know what the abbreviations are for. It was a diagram. And so that had me stumped. And so what I like about Janie Crowfoot is that or about this particular book, is that if you are having issues with learning how to read a pattern, she gives you the assistance that you need. And so you see, I marked this. I marked it here. It has chocolate here because I was just really reading this because I want to learn. I want to learn how to read the diagram. Okay, so in order to read the diagram, you have to have the key and you have to know what the symbols are in that key. And so that's what makes that's what I really liked about this. Why this book is in my on my bookshelf, and why I think it was a great investment for me crocheting. And as I said, she shows you how to read a pattern. She gets into how to make chains, which is fantastical. Another key point in the book that I absolutely adore, and that I think is essential for beginner crocheters and even intermediate and advanced crocheters, is learning what the anatomy of a stitch is. In my Learn to Crochet with Nail classes, I have been teaching how to know what the stitch looks like. What is the anatomy of the stitch? How do you know that you're making a single crochet or a double crochet, a half double crochet, or a treble crochet? And what Janie does is she lets you see what the front of a single crochet looks like and what the back of it looks like. What does the front or the half double crochet looks from the front and from the back? So she gives a really great education. I find that is very important when you are learning how to crochet. And remember, we're going to be starting soon on learning how to treble crochet very soon this weekend. All right. What's something else I found interesting? Okay. Joining in a new yarn. This is something that if you are a granny square aficionado like myself, or if you're just making an afghan or a blanket and you want to insert or include many different colors or corresponding colors, you have to know how to join in the yarn. So Janie breaks down how to join in your yarns. Very good. And one of the things that I really I have to say that is important about this book is that in the corner there are different sections that that has a feature that says Janie Says. So when she's already giving you a bulk of information, she gives you additional tips that you can use in the Janie Says column. So I found that was very important for me. Let's see. Okay. And beading. That's something that I really love. On one of my collections, I believe it was the 2019 collection that I had, fall winter collection, I designed beaded scarves. Okay. And at one point, I think it was 2017, 2018. I designed beaded scarves, but they were Prince inspired beaded scarves. So they had numbers within them. As a matter of fact, Prince's favorite number was the number 7. And so my beaded scarves featured 3 rows of beads, 3 rows of beads, 3 rows of 3 rows of beads, and they were 7 beads each row. And so that was part of the design. And I did not know the correct, or I did not know what the technique was for, on how to bead. I didn't understand the technique. I didn't watch any videos. I just thought in my mind, how, what I thought the formula for beading would look like, or the technique or skill of beading, using beads in crochet, how it would look. And that's one thing that my daughter says about me, that if there's something that I really want to do, I would just go ahead and do it. And that's an advanced technique. I didn't know what I was doing. I just did it, and I sewed lots of beaded scarves. And what Janie does is she shows you how to do it. And I really enjoyed learning how, what Janie's technique for beading and crochet, what that looks like. And I haven't used it yet, and I haven't made any more beaded scarves since 2017 or 2018. And I'm really thinking about doing so again, but we'll see. However, I found that what I was doing, wasn't so bad. What I was doing with beading and making my crochet scarves, wasn't bad at all. It was pretty good for a beginner. And that's why this book I believe, is really, really great for beginners, because you can hop in and you can learn as well. And with practice comes proficiency. I don't say practice makes perfect, because I don't believe in perfection. I believe in beauty. Nature is not perfect, okay? But I believe in becoming proficient. And if you become proficient and skilled and talented, that beauty comes about as well. So she has a chapter on beading. And if I am correct, in her book, The Ultimate Crochet Bible, she has a chapter on beading as well, as you see here. And then when you get down to it, finally you arrive at finishing touches. So when you're able to put everything together from the first chapter to the last section, then she gets to really how to bring it all together, how to put the finishing touches, the icing on your crochet project. With finishing touches, this whole section shows you, if you're making granny squares, how to sew your granny squares together, how to sew in how to sew in or weave in your ends, how to block. Blocking is important. How to also join your granny squares. That's something that I'm doing right now, joining my granny squares for my grandmother's blanket. She shows you the different techniques, and these are just a few of the techniques. I think it's maybe 2 or 3 that she does in this chapter about showing you how to join your squares. In the Ultimate Crochet Bible, she gives you a few more ways or techniques on how to join your granny squares. A really great book, and especially with showing you how the different techniques that you can use. Just phenomenal. You can learn so much from Janie Crowfoot. And then at the very as you end your journey, as you have completed your project, everything is done. You have done your edging, you have done the your borders, everything is complete. How do you take care of it? Or what instructions do you give to people that you're planning to gift your work to, or to your customers or clients, people that have commissioned you to make something, to crochet something? What are the instructions that you give to them so that they're Afghan, baby blanket, lapgan, wearable. So what are the instructions that you can give to them so that that wearable or that Afghan or that lapgan lasts them a lifetime, so that it becomes a generational thing that they can pass down. Janie goes into detail on how to wash and store your finished crochet projects, and it's very, very important. She gives you great advice on how to wash, how to store. And one of the things that I've noticed, one of the things that I tell my customers, or my clients, one of the things that I tell them as far as washing is concerned, I would prefer that they used baby detergent. I would say I would prefer if they hand washed. If it's a scarf or something like that, I would prefer that they hand wash it with baby detergent or Woolite. But if it's a lapgan or an Afghan, something that's really large, a large blanket or something of that nature, I would prefer them to put it in the wash machine on delicate and to use Dreft baby detergent or Woolite or something that's very, very that's for clothing, to protect clothing in the wash machine, to protect the fibers. And that's how I that's how I recommend that my clients wash their items. And then I would prefer them, after they've washed it, to let it dry, air dry. Do not put it in the dryer. Don't do that. Just put it on the dryer. And then for storing, I would prefer them to put it in one of those, if they're not going to use it again, to store it in a dry, cool place. And better yet, to store it in one of those vacuum storage bags, plastic containers, where you put it into the bag and then you use the vacuum suction compartment and attachment, and then you suck all the air out of it and then you put it away. That's how I advise my clients or customers to store their crochet goods. Because my thing is, when you create something like that, a beautiful crochet Afghan, lapgan, baby blanket, baby clothes, you want to preserve it. You want it to last generations. You want to be able to pass that down. And so that's why Janie ends the book on how to wash and store your crochet items. This is a really great book that I believe will enhance a beginner's journey into the world of crochet, that will enhance an intermediate or advanced crocheter on their journey. It's just overall great information. And if you don't have a lot of space in your library, because the Ultimate Crochet Bible is kind of large by Janie Crowfoot, this is still something that you can have that is easily and readily attainable, that you can put up on your shelf, that you can pull down when you need it, that you can, reference whenever you need it. It's just a great book to have in your reference arsenal. And if you are a beginner crocheter, it's really good to start building your crochet library. And one of the reasons why I say it's a good thing is because that is where your source of inspiration will be. You will become inspired by going through your reference library and getting ideas for projects that you can crochet and create. Another reason why it's good to start building your crochet reference library is because as crocheters, sometimes we run into problems, we run into situations, and we need a little advice. And so at your fingertips, there's your crochet reference library. That's why it's very important to start building one and getting started. Please go ahead and get started by using obtaining the Perfect Crochet Finish by Jane Crowfoot. Go ahead and obtain that for your crochet reference library. I'm your girl, Nail. This has been a What's on Nail's Bookshelf episode of Simply Nails Tiny Studio. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and think about becoming a sustainable member here in the Tiny Studio Lounge. I will see you next time in the Tiny Studio. See you later.